Blessed be. Today is May 19th, and it is National Barber Mental Health Day. As a barber, you're standing around somebody who's just has to sit there and let you work on them. So you can get engaged with some pretty in-depth conversations. And so as a barber, they often get very unburdened on. As human society, we find it easier to talk about negative experiences in our life. We are kind of programmed not to brag about the great experiences, but we can find commonality in complaining. And so as a barber, you're sitting there with your customer listening to them because they're just sitting there. That's their job. While getting a haircut is to be still. And so the barber gets unburdened on, and that's just got to add up. I'm not sure if there is any sort of training in barber school about maybe how to process that kind of energy getting released through your interaction with each and every customer. So I definitely advocate for these awareness days because we don't always realize how our interactions affect somebody else's, job day after day. Been definitely dealing with my own mental health lately. I think that's been part of the struggle with working on the title block. But I am happy to say that the medication is working because I did a great push today in productivity. I feel a little more clear now, so I went back to my Excel file. This is what I started with. And it is creating a list of categories and then putting in there like what type of information needs to be in the title block. So job information, sheet information, design information, hour information, revision information. So those are the categories I came up with. And then within each of those categories, then for job info, so you need the job number, you need the job name, the site number, and customer logo. Things for like the sheet information, the sheet number, the sheet count, drawing title, scale, and then it gets into the categories of information that I am debating whether to put in. We'll see actually how much space the necessary information takes up. But like you've seen where in a title block they have a section for the key plan, which I like. It's really good, especially if you work a lot on large buildings that will frequently use and benefit from a key plan. So you'd have that space available. One of the other areas that I kind of debate about the value this adds. So in a title block sometimes, and I've seen this before in the past, although while big buildings have their own column grid, and usually if you're designing or drawing, right, in paper space and stuff, you can get all the column lines to show up in each paper space. But you don't always get those in your floor plans. So in your title block, it's almost got a letter number grid similar to the concept of column lines. And so somebody in the field can call in and ask questions about like the devices in a certain section, such as like B6, and you go to the B6, and it's that B6 is the same on every sheet. So you would know which page you're on and then where the B6 is, and you could look at a different page and you could go to a different B6. But that's useful for just phone conversations from the field, and I'm curious as to if we have progressed technologically enough to when we are communicating in the field, do we still need that? I've never had the experience of anybody calling me and using that method. But maybe it is still very, very useful, and I would want to incorporate it if it is. I can't imagine, I mean, the whole point is it's just the title block. Once it's set up, it's set up. So put it in if it's useful, don't if it's not. One of the things that I'm hoping to design in is to put in a section for the initial release date. So you've got the very first date that the drawing went out the door, and then a section for like the latest issue date. So if the first went out in 1st of January and you've had 4 revisions since then, your latest release date would coordinate with that last revision. So I think that would be an interesting way to do the dates on the title blocks, because I've seen a lot of variations. Whew. The other thing that I don't see any consistency in is when it talks to the design information. Who drew it, who designed it, who approved it or reviewed it. Finding the nuances of really what's important with that area. Because I can see, like I'm looking at one of the title blocks that has 2 different categories for that, checked and peer reviewed. I was like, not sure what the difference is between those. They're left blank in the example I have, so it looks like it's something that's not even used. Same thing with putting who the project manager is in the title block. I'm not real sure I would vote for that to go into the title block. It's such a changing variable, and I'm not sure the drawing is the best place to want to reference that information, but maybe. But that's a lot of what I did. So I cleaned up my Excel file, creating these categories and things like that. And now I am going to run through and kind of mark up, again, my examples and see who uses what. Now that I've got a full list, and now I can create these columns with the different title blocks, and I've created like a little color coordinating system for yes and no if they used it. And I am marking on the DWG where that section is. So I might have overcomplicated things, but this is kind of what I need to fully grasp this. And I've been struggling for a while now to realize how I want to approach this and, evaluate this much information and decipher through it so I can do something with it. I am very proud that I'm getting somewhere today, and I look forward to continuing on this. I feel like I finally have that little piece of system to run with. So, yay! If you'd like to hear more entries into the CAD Witch's Grimoire, don't forget to hit subscribe. And until next time, merry meet, merry part, and merry meet again.